Okay, in this lecture we're going to talk about exponents. And exponents is a way that we write numbers that are multiplied by themselves several times. And then we're going to talk about the order of operations, how we correctly do a calculation based on the kinds of operations that are involved. So let's talk about exponents to start with. For example, if I write 2 times 2, all right, our exponent notation says this will be 2 to the power of 2. Okay, so if we do it the other way, let's suppose I have 3 to the 4. This would mean 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, so we're talking about the notation here. We know that this is 4. We understand that. 3 by 3 is 9, by 3 is 27, by 3 is 81. We know that's true, but the way we write it in exponent notation is 3 to the power of 4. So in general, if I have a number a, okay, and I'm multiplying by itself n times, then this really is meaning a times a times a times, right? And we go all the way down, right, to a. And of course, we're doing this n factors of a. Okay. In other words, we're multiplying by a by itself an n number of times, if you like. Now, the other thing here is that a is called the base, and the n is called the exponent or the power. So in other words, the way we talk about this is a to the power of n or a to the exponent n. Okay. All right, a to the nth power is another way. All right, that we talk about this. All right, now the main thing we have to know is, well, how does this all work? So let's look at some examples. All right, let's suppose that I want to find, for example, what do we mean by 7 squared? Well, 7 squared, of course, is 7 times 7, which is 49. Okay? All right, let's talk about part B. What do we mean by negative 3 to the power of 3? Well, this would mean negative 3, and be very careful here, times negative 3 times negative 3. Now, of course, this negative 3 by negative 3 is 9. So this is now 9 times negative 3, which of course is negative 27. Now, be absolutely clear that this is not the same as negative 3 cubed, because this is applying the cube to, or the exponent 3 to the 3. So this would be the negative of 3 times 3 times 3, which of course is equal to negative 27. Now, even though we get the same answer, these are not the same thing. And let me show you why. Let's suppose I take negative 4 to the let's say 2. Okay? So this would be negative 4 by negative 4, which would be 16. Okay? However, if I had negative 4 squared, this would be the negative of 4 by 4, which of course is negative 16. And these two are not the same. So be very careful. Sometimes we get the same result, and that's of course in this case because we had an odd power, but this one we don't when we had the even power. So be very careful. These two things are not the same. Okay? All right. What about if we have 3 times 5 squared? What's this equal to? Well, this is equal to 3 times 5 times 5, which of course is 25, so that will be 75. Right, this is not the same as if we did 3 times 5 squared, because this would be the 3 times 5 first, which would be this, which of course is 225. Okay. Alright, so be very clear that these two things are not the same either. Okay. Alright, so there we have how we deal with exponents. Now, order of operations has to do with what do we do first. Okay. Alright, now if we have a fraction, right, then we work above and below the fraction bar, right, separately. Alright. Alright, number 2, always do parentheses first, okay, or square brackets. Sometimes we have square brackets. Always do those first. All right, number 3, all right, if we don't have any of these, all right, then we just move straight on to do powers or exponents and roots. All right, and you work from left to right. Okay. All right, next, all right, you want to do multiplication. Okay. Or divisions. Okay. Again, working left to right. And next, okay, do any negations. That's if we have negative signs. Okay, any negations, additions, or subtractions. Finally, okay, again, left to right. All right, so let's do an example. Evaluate. All right, part A. Let's suppose we want to do 3 times 9 minus 2 to the 5 divided by 4. Okay, so we don't have any parentheses. We don't have a fraction. Okay, so we've got to do powers and roots first. Okay, so the very first thing we do, right, is we need to do the 2 to the power of 5. So this will become 3 by 9 minus 2 to the 5 is going to be 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, which comes out to be 32, divided by 4. Now we don't have any other kinds like that, so we go multiplications, divisions, working left to right. So from the left we get 27, 3 9s are 27, minus 32 divided by 4 is 8, and now we do the final subtraction, and 27 minus 8 will be in fact 19. Okay, right, let's do another one. Let's do 30 minus 5, and we have times that by 3, and we divide that by 15, and then we add 7. Alright, so parentheses first. 30 minus 5 is 25. We're multiplying that by 3, dividing it by 15, adding 7. Okay, so we don't have any more groupings, we don't have powers or roots, so we look at multiplications and divisions. Okay, working left to right, so here we have 25 times 3, which is 75. And we're dividing by 15, and we're going to add 7. So 75s into 15 go, 75 divided by 15 goes 5. Plus 7 gives us 12 as the answer. Right, part C. What if I have 2 to the 4 minus 11 divided by 9 plus 3 times 2. Alright, we do work the above and below the fraction bar separately. So powers are first here, so that'll be 16. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 minus 11. Here it'll be 9. Multiplication comes first, times 3 times 2 is 6. So this becomes 16 minus 11, which will be 5. And this will be 9 and 6 is 15, so I get 1 over 3. 5s into 15 go 3. And finally, what if we have negative 7 squared, subtract negative 9, all divided by 6 by negative 3 minus 1 by negative 2. Alright, so again we work above and below the fraction bar. So this will be negative 7 squared is 49. Then we have negating negative 9 will make plus 9. Here we have a subtraction, so we do the multiplication first, so this will be negative 18. And negative 1, well 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, and we're doing negation of that, which will be plus 2. So we end up with negative 40 on top. And here we're going to have 16 by the look of it, negative 16. Okay. Now notice that we have a negative above and below, so this becomes a positive now, and we can divide by 4s to get 10 over 4, which of course dividing through by 2 gives us 5 on 2. That's our answer. And that's the way we do the order of operations.